All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I know the headlines are saying they lost Jesse Bates, they lost Von Bell, which we'll talk about later. I'm not thrilled about that. I believe that the Bengals currently have a master plan, and whether that master plan is signing big name free agents, making trades for guys like Khalil Mack, whether it's just simply staying put, filling in the gaps, and bringing back your hometown talent, guys like Jermaine Pratt, who just got re-signed earlier today. I fully believe in the Cincinnati Bengals front office and coaching staff, and just honestly their players, like top to bottom. The Bengals run a world-class organization, and I know that the season didn't end as planned. That could have easily changed had a couple of things gone a little bit differently, but that's all in retrospect right now. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking obviously the Cincinnati Bengals. If you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. If we could get this video to 500 likes, that would be absolutely awesome. I appreciate my Bengals fans so much. It was a blast covering the team all season, and the offseason's just getting started. I think that is one of the overlooked aspects right now. You know, when you Google Cincinnati Bengals, or if you just like are kind of casually chilling on Twitter, NFL Network, whatever it is, what you see right now are the big three. The Bengals lost both starting safeties in Jesse Bates and Von Bell. They also earlier today lost Samaje Perine. And you can take this at face value and be like, uh-oh, well, what if the Bengals had something in their back pocket? What if they planned on signing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, somebody that currently on Twitter, a lot of Bengals players are currently making a push for? They're advocating for him. They are currently recruiting CJ Gardner-Johnson, one of the best young cats, probably the best available free agent in the league. What if they're trying to recruit him right now? Well, actually, sorry, they are recruiting him right now. What if they actually were to acquire him? Now, we know Cincinnati has money to spend heading into the offseason. We know they have draft picks. We know they have talent, players they wanted to re-sign, as you saw with Jermaine earlier today. You know, maybe we see Eli Apple in a couple of days, whatever the case is. But they could make a big-time trade. I've seen some possible Khalil Mack trade rumors. I haven't been a huge fan of what they give up. It's like a second-round pick and a late draft pick. Not a huge fan of it because I think Khalil's time in LA is completely over. However, once again, I'm believing in the system because this team did seriously such a good job at drafting last year. And once again, like technically at the time of this recording, by the time a lot of you guys watch this video, free agency will probably technically have started. But, you know, right now, late Tuesday night, we're currently in the like window where you can tamper. The tampering window, essentially, is what it's called. And I know you see a bunch of guys getting picked up, you know, a bunch of big names being traded for whatever it is. And I haven't seen any panic within the Bengal organization as far as like the fan base goes. And I'm just so glad with it because seriously, you know, if you zoom out, like you have Joe Burrow, you have Jamar Chase, you have a talented defense, you have an extremely talented team. Yes, there could be some holes that they look to fill in. You know, we're going to talk about the tight ends later on in the video, but a defensive tackle, the offensive line, like seriously, this is just the start of free agency. And if you even just look at available free agents right now, there are so many talented players that are still available out there. Most notably, once again, CJ Gardner-Johnson. I wouldn't be surprised if they acquired him. Even if they don't, you have 2022 first-round pick Dax Hill, a safety who is, might I add, extremely fast. Good run blocker, good run supporter, if you will. I like what they have. You know, Tyson Anderson, fifth-round pick out of Toledo. He's been in the league for a couple of seasons now. The Bengals organization, their coaching staff, their front office, they know their talent right now. Right? Like, I'm not worried about their evaluation of it. Now, there are some moves like, you know, Samaje isn't shocking, right? I think Jesse Bates was not shocking, all right? I don't even think the Jermaine Pratt move to bring him back was shocking. What I see a little bit surprising was Von Bell. His contract was extremely reasonable. The Panthers got him for 3 years, $22.5 million. I saw a poll earlier today, and the poll was this: should the Bengals have coughed up the extra cash for Von Bell? 67% of Bengals fans said yes, he earned it and his leadership would be very valuable. 25% I have to wait and see who/if they sign a replacement. Just 8% said no, he's too old during the last part of the contract / he is replaceable. It could easily go either way. Once again, there are some quality starters, not only in the draft, but especially in free agency. I kind of anticipate, whether or not their thoughts on Dax Hill, which I think they're extremely high on, and they've praised Dax Hill like plenty of times, whether or not their plan is to get a draft pick or run with Dax and Cam Taylor-Britt, whatever it is, I know this team has a plan. I know they know what talent they have. I know they know who is technically expendable. And this was just a decision that I guess happened. Von Bell was kind of a coin flip for the most part for the entirety of the offseason. It was like, yeah, let's get him back. But, if we don't, I'm sure the Bengals will figure it out. And that's what I anticipate to happen. The good news is, currently with the loss of Jesse Bates and Von Bell, they are likely to receive a 3rd and 5th round compensatory pick for the 2024 NFL draft. I'm not quite sure if that's actually going to come to fruition, because if they make a move, that is kiboshed. However, we did have Coach Lou say this about Bengals second-year safety now, Dax Hill, who we didn't see due to injury and just like super quality of depth last year. Here's the quote: "He has shown he can do a number of different things. He's got some flexibility, and certainly that will help." So that's just a little bit of a resurgence, or a reassurance, I should say, for Bengals fans right now, which, like I said, I haven't seen any panic, so you don't even need the reassurance. We have a tweet here. It basically brought up the tight end room. You have Hayden Hurst. What is interesting is there hasn't been, at the time of this recording, once again, that's extremely important when making these videos, but like I said, it's late Tuesday night. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen here. The tight end market hasn't moved in the slightest. You still have Mike Gesicki out there. You have Dalton Schultz. You have Austin Hooper. You have Robert Tonyan. All of these cats are available. Keep in mind, you also have a very deep, in the draft, tight end market. All right. I've heard coaches, like I know Dave Ziegler out of Las Vegas has said this might be the best tight end draft class I've seen since I got into the league. But the Hayden Hurst question, that's something it looks like the Bengals are either taking a wait and see approach with, which I'm perfectly okay with, or they have ulterior options, which I'm perfectly okay with. If you haven't been able to see the reoccurring theme in this video, is the Bengals certainly have a plan. They have some type of framework for a plan, and we don't need to waste too much time before we see that in action. I mean, you're technically seeing it in action right now, but I'm going to trust this front office that they know exactly what they're doing, and they've ran through every possible option and come up with positives, negatives, and come up with like essentially what needs to happen if blank happens. Lastly, the Bengals will definitely need to target the running back position. This upcoming year will be the last year Joe Mixon is under contract. I'm a little worried about Joe Mixon's future with Cincinnati. We saw Samaje, who just went actually to Denver. Denver's had kind of a sneaky offseason thus far. He just went to Denver, and we actually saw Samaje play more snaps than Joe in the AFC Championship game, which was definitely interesting. In the last couple of years, he's had almost 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Here's another caveat, kind of similar to the tight end class. The tight end class and the running back class in free agency is extremely deep. Whether you need ready-to-go starters, whether you need complementary backs, which probably more suits what you have with Mixon right now, or young up-and-coming, soon-to-be starting running backs if they get the right role. The draft for both of those sides, like tight end and running back, like this is a really good class for both of those two positions. So as far as offensive goes, we know Cincinnati is so talented. They're so loaded on the offensive side that you want to improve your weaknesses. You even want to improve your strengths, but I like it. It's given them flexibility. The running back market, the tight end market, we haven't seen too much budging going on there. So I'm curious to hear what Bengals fans currently have to say on this free agency. Let me know down below, but I have no panic in the world for this Bengals team. The offseason technically could end right now and we could just head into the draft. And I know it wouldn't be like the most ideal free agency for the Bengals in an ideal world, but I still would be extremely confident with this 12-4 team last season that, like I said, a couple of snaps away from the season ending a lot differently than it did. So try and get 500 likes on tonight's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit that sub button, the whole shebang, and I'll catch you.